every single month your body doesn't just mature a single egg. It initiates a brutal cellular race between a cohort of hundreds of follicles, where only one dominant follicle survives and the rest are systematically forced to self-destruct. This ruthless process is governed not by the pelvis, but by a precise command center deep within the brain. The hypothalamus orchestrates the entire cycle by releasing gonadotropin-releasing hormone in exact rhythmic pulses. In response, the anterior pituitary gland synthesizes and unleashes follicle-stimulating hormone into the bloodstream. Traveling through the dense vascular network, FSH binds directly to granulosa cells inside the dormant ovarian follicles. This cellular binding acts as the catalyst, ordering the selected cohort of follicles to awaken and expand. As the follicles grow, they secrete increasing amounts of fluid, creating high-pressure cellular chambers. Simultaneously, these multiplying granulosa cells begin converting androgen precursors into a potent form of estrogen, estradiol. As estradiol levels steadily climb in the bloodstream, they send a crucial message back to the central nervous system. Initially, this estrogen exerts a negative feedback loop, signaling the brain to dial back its production of FSH. With FSH levels dropping, only the strongest follicle, the one with the highest density of receptors, can survive the famine. This victor is the dominant Graafian follicle, destined to release the single viable egg of the month. It now expands exponentially, preparing for an explosive structural rupture that will change the entire systemic environment. While the dominant follicle grows, the uterus undergoes a radical structural rebuilding of its own. Driven by the rising tide of estradiol, the endometrial lining enters the proliferative phase, rapidly duplicating its cellular layers. To support this new tissue, thin, completely straight spiral arteries sprout upward, perfusing the region with fresh blood. Elongated, straight endometrial glands also develop, preparing to eventually secrete a nutrient-rich fluid. By day 12 of a standard cycle, the dominant follicle is producing an absolute peak concentration of estradiol. When estradiol crosses a critical threshold for over 36 consecutive hours, a spectacular physiological paradox occurs. The negative feedback loop flips into a violent positive feedback switch. The brain opens the floodgates, unleashing the massive LH surge. This sudden neurological eruption triggers a simultaneous, though smaller, spike in follicle-stimulating hormone. This intense surge of luteinizing hormone targets the dominant follicle, initiating a complex cascade of proteolytic enzymes. These specialized enzymes begin systematically degrading the dense collagen matrix of the ovarian wall from the inside out. The outer surface of the ovary begins to thin, forming a distinct, highly pressurized bulge known as the stigma. Simultaneously, the high level of LH induces a transient surge in testosterone synthesis within the ovarian stroma. This brief spike in testosterone systematically increases sex drive, aligning behavior precisely with peak biological fertility. Inside the chamber, the secondary oocyte detaches from the wall, floating freely within a protective cloud called the cumulus oophoris. The structural integrity of the ovarian wall is now entirely compromised. Ovulation is imminent. On roughly day 14, the stigma ruptures, violently expelling the egg and follicular fluid into the peritoneal cavity. The finger-like fimbriae of the fallopian tube sweep across the ovarian surface, vacuuming the expelled oocyte into the tube. Once inside, thousands of microscopic, wave-like cilia line the fallopian tube, physically propelling the egg toward the uterus. The true biological clock is incredibly narrow. Once ovulated, the secondary oocyte remains viable for only 12 to 24 hours. However, because healthy spermatozoa can survive in fertile cervical mucus for up to 5 full days, the clinical fertile window actually encompasses the 5 days preceding ovulation plus the day of ovulation itself. If fertilization does not occur within that strict 24-hour window, the unfertilized egg rapidly undergoes cellular degeneration. The oocyte fragments and is cleanly phagocytized by the mucosal cells of the tubal lining, leaving no physical trace. Back on the ovary, the collapsed empty husk of the ruptured follicle undergoes an immediate radical metamorphosis. The internal cavity fills with blood, and under the continuous influence of LH, the remaining cells undergo luteinization. This structure seals itself completely, transforming into a temporary, highly vascularized endocrine gland called the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum immediately begins synthesizing and secreting massive quantities of the dominant hormone of pregnancy, progesterone. High progesterone levels exert a powerful negative feedback loop on the brain, locking down further follicular development completely. This ensures that as long as a corpus luteum is active, no other eggs can be matured or released during that cycle. The biological focus now shifts entirely to the uterine lining, which must prepare for the potential implantation of a blastocyst. Under the direct command of progesterone, the endometrium transitions into the secretory phase, completely changing its architecture. The endometrial glands become intensely coiled and tortuous, actively secreting fluids rich in glycogen, glycoproteins, and lipids. The spiral arteries lengthen and coil dramatically, ensuring the functional layer of the tissue is heavily oxygenated. The tissue becomes highly edematous and specialized, a process known as decidualization, engineered to nourish an embryo. The corpus luteum has an internal autonomous lifespan of precisely 14 days unless rescued by an embryonic hormone. Without the presence of human chorionic gonadotropin from an implanted embryo, the corpus luteum initiates luteolysis. It rapidly degrades, its cells undergoing apoptosis, leaving behind a non-functional fibrous scar called the corpus albicans. With the corpus luteum dead, systemic levels of progesterone and estrogen suffer an immediate, catastrophic crash. This abrupt hormone withdrawal triggers violent, intense spasms within the highly developed spiral arteries of the uterus. As these arteries constrict, blood flow to the upper two-thirds of the endometrium, the stratum functionalis, is completely cut off. Deprived of oxygen and vital nutrients, the tissue enters a state of acute ischemia, hypoxia, and widespread cellular necrosis. Dying cells rupture, releasing lysosomal enzymes that begin digesting the structural proteins holding the tissue layer together. The damaged spiral arteries briefly relax, causing a sudden influx of blood that completely ruptures the weakened vessels. The entire functional layer sheds away from the permanent basal layer, combining with blood and cellular fluid. To expel this necrotic debris, the smooth muscle of the uterine wall, the myometrium, begins powerful contractions. These intense contractions are driven by prostaglandins, inflammatory lipid compounds produced directly by the breaking tissue. Excessive prostaglandins leak into surrounding pelvic tissues, hypersensitizing pain receptors and causing ischemic uterine cramping. The resulting menstrual fluid is not just blood, it is 50% necrotic endometrial tissue passing slowly through the cervix. This shedding phase typically lasts 3 to 8 days, resetting the uterine environment completely for the next cycle. As the old lining is shed, the brain is released from hormonal suppression and the pituitary begins secreting FSH once more. The normal clinical interval ranges between 24 and 38 days from the first day of one period to the next. The abrupt systemic plunge of progesterone also alters vascular permeability and neurotransmitters, driving secondary symptoms. This causes the classic presentations of pelvic congestion, progesterone withdrawal migraines, GI tract bloating, and profound fatigue. Even as the current cycle concludes, the next generation of primordial follicles is already locked in a brand new race to survive.